Underdog plus Sheishfed presents Dark Secrets of Subway Tunnels, Part 3. I quickly got up and leaned against the wall. All listened carefully. A strong stomp was clearly audible, which faithfully and confidently approached me and became louder. After it abruptly stopped, when immediately started some indistinct nervous male muttering began, and then a sharp sound, as if someone had cocked the shutter of a machine gun. "Damn! We're going to shoot me!" I thought then, and abruptly rushed into the depths. It was very dark, so I tried to run slowly and carefully. Suddenly, unexpectedly, I stumbled on something and, it seems, twisted my leg a little. Trying to touch to understand what it stumbled on, I realized that this was a railing, which means it was a staircase. I carefully climbed it down, stepped aside and turned it around. A footstep was again heard from above, and suddenly it became a little lighter for a second. Downstairs, my pursuers shone a flashlight, and the light beam ran sharply from side to side. Although I still did not understand what they were talking about. It seems that they did not see me. After which it became dark again, and the footsteps became quieter and quieter. I moved a little further. There was a dim reflected light. I cautiously moved on. There was a window from which this light came and some kind of sounds coming from it, as if someone was writing something down. I bent down, quietly approached it closer and began to listen. Suddenly there was a phone call, with the sound of a very old phone. From the 30s or 40s, someone picked it up, the phone, and said, "Duty officer of the 5 checkpoint of M7 bunker is listening." I got scared and sharply held my breath, putting my hand to my mouth. My heart began to beat again. The duty officer continued the conversation on the phone. "Yes, Comrade Lieutenant Colonel. The wagons with anti-air shells have already been loaded into train number 3. And at this moment it is moving through the C1 tunnel to position 122 in the central part of the city." At that time, I began to realize that for some reason I was moved in time, and it seems fell right into the time of the Second World War. I realized that I need to get out of here somehow. The duty officer then continued, "No, Comrade Lieutenant Colonel. I am now alone in the room and our secret conversation is strictly confidential. There will be no written reports about this ever. Over and out." After that, I heard how abruptly and loudly they hung up. As soon as I got up and was about to leave, I heard a sharp sound. Some kind of iron door opened abruptly and the footsteps was heard. Then a dialogue immediately began. "We found someone stranger in the tunnel." "What do you mean? Who was that?" "We don't know. Maybe some enemy spy." "Immediately find and eliminate. We can't take our chances." "Yes, comrade." I immediately realized that I urgently need to get out of here and preferably as far as possible until they found me. I climbed the stairs again and returned to the main tunnel, ran through the tunnel and saw the very train that the duty officer was talking about. I wondered if I would violate temporary events, if ammunition was not brought to the anti-air weaponry in time. In other words, this is clearly not what I need to think about right now. I had to climb into the train itself, since I couldn't get around it, because the third rail is connected to electricity. There were quietly ordinary passenger wagons. Boxes with anti-aircraft shells lay on the floor. Suddenly from behind, someone pulled a shutter of a machine gun and said, "Stop, right there! Put your hands up!" I stopped abruptly and raised my hands up. Apparently a soldier hid somewhere and was waiting specially for me. I therefore thought that it was all over. But suddenly in front of me, out of nowhere, literally from under the ground, the same man in a raincoat and hood appeared. The soldier behind him with a machine gun apparently also noticed hooded man who just now rise from the ground and exclaimed, "Ah! What is going on? For you! And where you came from? Stop! Don't move or I will shoot!" The man in the hood smiled slyly at me and abruptly covered me with his cloak and seemed to drag me somewhere underground. Shots were heard in the background, and when I opened my eyes, I found myself in the same tunnel where I felt terrible and lost my consciousness. The tunnel looked to be modern. Was it a dream? Very strange. My watch on my wrist rang, telling me that the subway would open in half an hour and that it was time for me to get out. I moved to the exit, feeling that everything was already behind us and that there would be no more surprises for today. And then I meet seems to be a train driver who is walking to the train at the dead end to prepare for working day. His face was in a shadow, but his mouth was visible. He waved his hand at me and silently walked on. And as soon as he passed me, I saw that very mischievous smile on his face. I turned around and there was no one there. I thought, what the heck? How could he leave so quickly? Only 2 seconds had passed at most. I decided just in case to go faster and eventually reached the ventilation shaft. The inside of the shaft was already illuminated by the soft morning light. My heart immediately felt lighter and I began to climb the stairs to the top. Stepping outside and hurriedly closing the creaky metal door, I finally took a deep breath. It was some kind of nightmare. For the first time in my life, I couldn't tell if it was a dream or not. In any case, I do not intend to return here again. A beautiful morning sunrise really calmed me down. When and I had to do was hand over the case to the duty officer. End of part 3, the final part. Thank you for your time.